And we're live on episode 29 of True Sports. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. Lots of NFL action going on, especially with that playoff race going on.
Yes.
That stupid Allstate commercial. That guy can eat my testicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no offense to those Allstate commercial people. Allstate commercial jerk offs. Anyway, wild ending between the Patriots and Raiders. The Patriots coughed up not only the ball, but the game and their chances at a playoff spot. The Patriots are out. They're eliminated, from what I've heard. And the Los Angeles Chargers are in.
I did not see that coming at all. Who would have thought at the beginning of the year that the Chargers would actually make the postseason? And behold, they're in.
Yeah. The Chargers have suffered through pain the last 2 or 3 years before this.
Yes.
And then the Lions beat the Jets.
I knew we were going to go there.
Sorry, I had to I had to cover it.
I know.
I had to step on someone's toes. But it was a tight one. It was a tight defensive slugfest. But Zach Wilson made some inaccurate passes. Made quite a mistake there with that interception throw to Jerry Jacobs of all people. Jerry Jacobs is not a good defender. He fielded that pass like a routine fly ball in the outfield, like in baseball.
Yes. When you put it like that.
And the Lions only settled for a field goal because of Evan Brown's 2 stupid fucking holding penalties. Evan Brown should get the fuck off this roster. But the Lions overcame that and won. That Brock Wright 51-yard touchdown catch won it for the Lions on 4th and inches with 1:49 left. That was amazing. The Lions offense fooled the Jets defense. Brock Wright was left wide open, way out in the open, and it wasn't deep either.
No,
there was no screening involved. I swear to God, you gotta believe me. It was visually evident. It was visually evident he was all alone completely, and he made an easy catch.
Oh, I saw that.
He was out in the open, and he just ran and took off, and then made a move, turning it upfield. And he found the end zone, and the Lions took the lead. And then the Jets thought they had a shot at it with one last play, but 58-yard field goal from Greg Zuerlein, not a chance. Well, it had the distance, just not the accuracy. No. It was well wide. That went well wide left.
It missed by about 10 yards.
Well, it hit the netting, but it was well wide left. It wasn't short, but it was well wide left. Let's see, we got a fumble.
Yeah, but 58 yards, that's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, and now the Lions are 7-7. They were 1-6 before. Can you believe that? Since then, they were 6-1.
No.
A hell of a palindrome, isn't it?
Now that's a palindrome if I ever saw one.
Yeah. That is absurd new Lions to me. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Not just different new Lions, not just brand new Lions, absurd new Lions. They find ways to win instead of losing. For God's sake. They found ways to win 6 out of their last 7 since they fired defensive backs coach Aubrey Pleasant. I know their secondary defense still needs work.
Maybe that's what you need to do.
They keep winning. Yeah, their pass. The difference maker in their defensive unit is their front, their pass rushing with Aiden Hutchinson, with Kaminsky, with Romeo Okwara being back in the lineup. He got a sack.
I mean, sometimes when you fire somebody from up above, it does a world of good. I know it's not the same thing as like say with baseball when the Phillies fired George Girardi. They were in the tank last year, and look what happened. They went away to the World Series, all because of one managing move. Freaky, isn't it?
Yeah. End of the third quarter, Giants lead the Commanders 17-9. Both the Giants and Commanders are 7-5-1, and they're playing each other right now on NBC.
Yes, I have the game on myself.
In commercial break, just ended. The third quarter just ended. The fourth quarter is up next. This will be an interesting one. But the Lions beat the Giants, Commanders, and Jets all 3 in one season. This season, man.
Yeah.
The win against the Commanders was the only win. Was the only game in that 1-6 stretch. The only win in that 1-6 stretch to start their season for the Lions. And then the other two vice versa. So,
when you think of this, 1-6, that's a poor start, and there's not much of a chance that you're gonna, get a winning season out of that. But look what has happened now.
Yeah, things have gone like bizarro. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Bizarro Lions.
The bizarro world, yes.
Bizarro. Remember that the challenge of the Super Friends? Superman versus Bizarro?
Era,
yeah.
Yes. That's my era, man.
Yeah.
I was only 9 years old when that came out.
That's the exact word I was looking for. Bizarro.
Bizarro world.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's now time for your true sports report, Lewis.
We feel bizarro. Oh no. Okay. You got me doing it now. All right. So we're heading into the fourth quarter with the Giants now leading the Washington Whatnots, or we want to call them the Commanders, 17-9 in the fourth quarter. This is also an important game for Dallas because if the Giants win, the Cowboys will clinch the division, will clinch the spot in the playoffs. So this is a very important game because they should have won that game, but they lost on a mistake and wound up losing the game in overtime, 40-34 against the Jaguars, for crying out loud. Now, because the Jaguars have not been everybody's team that was going to pull it out because they've been so bad for so long. But this year they have shown a vast improvement, and they have stepped up as a prime contender maybe for a wild card spot. Personally, I don't see how you've done it, but you have. I find it very bizarre. That's bizarre. That's bizarre in itself. By the way, for those of you of the Jewish faith, Happy Hanukkah that just happened a few hours ago. I have a lot of friends of the Jewish faith, and I just want to wish them a very happy Hanukkah. Okay, so continuing on now. That being said, also the Jets lost to your Lions, of course. Well, I'm sure it makes everybody else there happy. The Eagles hold off the Bears 25-20. My brother is not happy happy about that. The Saints over the Falcons, 21-18, in that joke of a division we call the AFC South. Yuck. Giants, Lions over Jets, 2017. The Steelers over the Panthers, 24-16. I honestly didn't know what to make of that game, to be honest. Jaguars over the Cowboys, 40-34 in overtime. You should have seen that run, man. Yuck. The Chiefs over the Texans, 30-24. The Broncos over the Cardinals, 24-15. The Raiders over them, you call them the Patriots, 30-24. The Chargers, that's right, the Chargers over the Titans, 17-14. And the Bucks over the Bengals over the Buccaneers, 34-23. Interesting. All right, so we'll check the standings, and they go like this. By the way, incidentally, there'll be a Thursday night game involving the Jets as well. And unlike normal Thursday nights, I get to see this game, even though it's usually on Amazon Prime. But because it's in my local area, I get to see it. Thank goodness. Okay, so the standings go like this. The Bills, yeah, they clinched the division, all right. Yuck. 11-3-0. The Dolphins, 8-6-0. The Patriots and the Jets are tied at 7-0 with 3 games to play. Over to the AFC North. The Bengals are 10-4. The Ravens are 9-5. The Browns and the Steelers are 6-8. Ugh. To the South, Titans 7-7. Jaguars 6-8. The Colts 4-9-1, and the Texans 1-12-1. Like, the AFC South, that's another pathetic division. Sorry. To the West, Chiefs 11-3-0 after that win in overtime. Chargers 8-6, 6-0. The Raiders 6-8-0, and the Broncos 4-10-0. Over to the NFC, the Eagles 13-1-0. Cowboys 10-4-0. The Commanders and Giants 7-5-1. But as I mentioned, if the Giants win, the Cowboys can clinch a playoff spot. Vikings 11-3-0 in the North. The Lions 7-7-0. The Packers 5-8-0. What happened to them? And the Bears 3-11-0. Okay, sorry, my brother. To the South, and I mean pathetic South. Oh, this is awful. The Bucks 6-8-0. The Panthers 5-9-0, along with the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons, all 5-9-0. This division is a joke. To the West, the 49ers 10-4-0. The Seahawks 7-7-0. The Rams 4-9-0, which should be eliminated by next week, and the Cardinals 4-10-0. Sorry. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's how that worked out. All right. So, shall we turn on to the? Yeah. Let's go to the ice. There are a few games in progress. My Rangers did a number on the Blackhawks night, 7-1. Yeah. Looks like the Rangers are finding their footing too. After a little while where they were struggling in the beginning of the season, mid to the season, they have really stepped up. And now we're looking to make it like a pretty good run as we head towards the Christmas break. The Devils, on the other hand, well, they started out good, but now they're losers of 5 in a row. And that's got some people worried over here in the Garden State. But remember, guys, I just report the news. I don't make it. So anyway, at the end of the first, the Flames and Sharks are tied 1 apiece. The Wild over the Senators 4-2. The Hurricanes over the Pens 3-2. The Rangers over the Blackhawks 7-1. And the Kraken over the Jets 3-2. All right, so let's check the standings here. And the standings go this way. Let's do it here. All right. So in the Atlantic Division, just hold on a second. Let's try to get. Okay, I just had it. All right. In the Atlantic, the Bruins 24-4-2, 50 points. Wow. The Leafs 19-7-6, 44 points. The Lightning 41 points at 29-1. The Panthers 18-14-4, 34 points. Your Red Wings 13-11-6, 32 points. Sabres 15-14-2, 39 points. At 30 points are the Senators and Habs, the Canadiens, at 14-15-2. Despite the Devils on a losing streak, they still lead the Metropolitan Division at 21-8-3, 44 points. The Hurricanes, 44 points at 19-6-6. Here come the Rangers, 18-10-5, 41 points. Look at that. Pens, 18-19-4, 40 points. Islanders, 18-13-1, 37 points. Too bad. Capitals, 16-13-4, 36 points. The Criers, or the Flyers, as people call them, 10-15-7, 27 points. And the Columbus Blue Jackets are still the Columbus Blue Jackets at 10-18-3. 2 at 34, at 23 points. To the West, the Stars, 18-8-6, 42 points. The Jets, 20-10-1, 41 points. The Wild, 39 points at 18-11-3. The Avalanche, 16-11-2, 34 points. Blues, 13-15-1, 31 points. I guess something blew about. The Yahoos, or as you call them, the Predators, 12-13-4, 28 points. Coyotes, 10-15-4, 24 points. What else is new? And the Blackhawks again having another pathetic season, 7-19-4, 15 points. Yeah. To the Pacific, the Knights, 22-10-1, 45 points. The Kings, 17-13-5, 39 points. The Kraken, 17-10-3, 37 points. Oilers, 17-14-1, 35 points. Flames, 13-12-8, 32 points. Canucks, 13-14-3, 29 points. The Sharks, 10-16-8, 26 points. And the Ducks, 21 points at 9-20-3. Oof. I hate to be the owner of some of these teams, you know. Ugh. If you get pathetic records like that this time of year. All right, so let's check tomorrow's games, and they go like this. Starting with your 7 o'clock games, the Panthers will take on the Bruins. Good luck. The Stars will take on the Blue Jackets. Your Red Wings will take on the Capitals. 8 o'clock, Oilers will take on the Predators. 9 o'clock, Islanders take on the Avalanche. Your 10 o'clock games are the Habs versus the Coyotes. The Sabres taking on the Knights. And 10:30, the Blues taking on the Canucks. So, shall we now go over to the NBA? Let's see. Okay, so now we'll go over to the hardwood, as I like to call it. And if you're a Knicks fan, you got something to be happy about, because now 7 straight wins. I like it. 7 straight wins for New York, and the Nets aren't doing so bad either. All right, so we go like this. Right now, the Lakers are leading the Wizards 67-60 with 9:10 to go in the third quarter. All the rest are finals, as the Celtics beat the Magic beat the Celtics 95-92. The Knicks over the Pacers 109-106, 7 in a row. The Nets over the Pistons 124-121 have now won 10 of their last 11. I like it. Warriors over the Raptors 125-110. Check this score out, guys. The Timberwolves over the Bulls. Ready for this? 150 to 126. I am not making that up. 150. How about that? And the Nuggets over the Hornets, 119 to 115. 150 points in the game. That's not even overtime. Wow. Okay, over to the standings here. And they go this way. Okay, in the Eastern Conference, the Bucks are 21-8 and are in a virtual tie with the Celtics, who are 22-9. That's a virtual tie. In the Cavaliers, 20-11, 2 back. The Nets, 19-12, 3 back. The Sixers, 16-12, 4.5 back. The Knicks, 17-13, 4.5 back. Nice. The Heat, 16-15, 6 back. The Hawks, 15-15, 6.5 back. The Pacers, 15-16, 7 back. And the Raptors, 13-17, 8.5 back. What happened to them? The Bulls, 11-18, 10 back. 10.5 back are the Wizards, 11-19. Sorry, Steve. The Magic, which is now the Tragic, are 11-20 at 11 back. Your Pistons are, sorry about this, guys, 8-24, 14.5 back. And the Hornets are just as bad at 7-23, 14.5 back. Sorry. Okay, to the West. The Grizzlies, 19-10, have a 1-game lead over the Pelicans and the Nuggets at 18-11. I think the Pelicans are the surprise team of the league this year. I could be wrong, but that looks good to me. Suns, 18-12, a game and a half back. The Kings, 2.5 back at 16-12. Also 2.5 back are the Blazers at 17-13. Clippers, 18-14, 2.5 back. Jazz, 17-18, 3.5 back. Mavericks and the Wolves are 9-10 at 4.5 back at 15-15. Further down the list, the Warriors are 15-16, 5 back. Yeah. Lakers, 12-16, 6.5 back, but doing much better than what they have been the earlier weeks in the season. So they're not out of it yet. Thunder, 12-18, 7.5 back. And the Spurs and the Rockets are 9-20 at 10 back. Oof. Not good. Not good at all. All right, so continuing on now with the schedule here for tomorrow. And it goes this way. And we're okay. So this goes like this. Starting with your 7 o'clock games, the Jazz will take on the Cavaliers. The Raptors will take on the Sixers. 7:30. The Magic take on the Hawks. 8 o'clock games are the Spurs taking on the Rockets. The Mavericks will take on the Wolves. The Bucks will take on the Pelicans. The Blazers take on the Thunder. 9 o'clock. The Lakers take on the Suns. And 10 o'clock, the Hornets take on the Kings. And that's your schedule wrap up for tomorrow. All right, so now we'll head on to the headlines of the day. And also, of course, for those of you who watch the World Cup soccer, congratulations, Argentina. Oh, yeah. As they beat France. Score was actually tied 3-3 at the end of regulation and overtime, and Argentina won 4-2 on a penalty shootout. Wonderful. All right. Lakers center Anthony Davis will miss several weeks from a right foot injury, sources told ESPN, which I'm sorry to hear. Davis underwent an MRI yesterday after leaving Friday's game versus the Nuggets and was still undergoing an evaluation today. He appeared to tweak his right foot after his lower leg collided with Nikolai Jokic as both players were in midair near the basket in the first quarter, and Davis did not return to the game. Gee, I wonder why. Davis had been ruled out for today's game against the Wizards anyway. A prolonged absence could hurt the postseason chances for the Lakers, which started the season at a miserable, pathetic 2-12 and are now 12-16, which is a vast improvement, and are a half game out of the final play-in spot. Lionel Messi says now he won't retire from Argentina after scoring 2 goals in the World Cup, holding off France for Argentina's 3rd title and their first since 1986. Thank goodness. Messi set a new record for most World Cup appearances with his 26th game after confirming last month he was retiring from Argentina. However, finally winning the World Cup, the only thing that's been missing from his trophy case, he now intends to stay and play for Argentina longer. Will he make the 2026 roster? That remains to be seen. So we'll find out. But remember, now he is 35 years old. Well, Argentina did win the World Cup today, and I actually saw a game, but he lost the Golden Boot Award. That went to Kylian Mbappe as he scored a hat trick despite losing Argentina in the final. He scored 3 goals in the tournament, bringing his total to 12 overall in World Cup play. He edged out Messi, who scored 2 goals himself, but Messi won the Golden Ball Award. So, turnabout is fair play. Mbappe scored for France in the first game against Australia, then scored 2 goals against Denmark, but did not in the win against Tunisia. Argentina won on penalty kicks after France scored 2 goals late in the second half and in extra time, which was disgusting. Tchouaméni scored the winning goal in the penalty kick shootout. What a game. Sad news from my area, my home area of New Jersey, from Seton Hall. Former Seton Hall Pirates guard Richard Dick Gaines was a member of the school's Hall of Fame, passed away last week at the age of 86. Gaines passed away on December 10th, but the school did not announce his death until last Friday. Gaines played at Seton Hall from 1954 to 1957. After a one-year stint on the junior varsity squad, he was named AP Honorable Mention All-American after averaging 21.1 points per game in his senior season. Gaines averaged 19.6 per game, scored 1,511 points, and was like the 20th by the Syracuse Nationalists in 1957. Now you call them the Philadelphia 76ers. So it's a sad day in my area. And my nephew actually goes to Seton Hall as well. So and he is, good friends with the basketball class. What a shame. Okay, if we got one for a ridiculous sign of the week, maybe we got it right here. Grizzly star Ja Morant was ejected in last night's loss to the Thunder at halftime, making remarks to courtside Grizzlies fans that were using derogatory remarks about the officiating. Morant was ejected with 43 seconds left in the half when he was called for a second technical foul. He picked up his first just 11 seconds earlier after committing a foul to stop play and complain about the no call on the drive to the basket. Here we go again. According to a pool report, crew chief John Goebel said Morant was assessed with his first foul for using foul language and the second for making a comment for questioning the integrity of an official. Okay, never heard that one before. Morant did not exactly say what exactly he said to the fans, but did confirm the conversation and said he was not speaking to either official before the technical foul. I wonder about that. Morant scored only 6 points and was 3 for 10 shooting and ended the Grizzlies' 7-game winning streak. Okay. Suns coach Monty Williams was likely the only person who could have stopped Devin Booker last night, as he's had one of his best games of his career. Thankfully, the Suns' Williams never took out Booker out in the second half, as he scored a whopping 58 points in a win over the Pelicans last night. With just over 7 minutes in the third, the Pelicans up by 24. The Suns started to chip away, and Booker took control of the game from there. Well, wait, there's more, folks. Booker scored 25 straight points for the Suns, starting at the 3-minute 30 mark of the third quarter left, and lasting until 7:43 mark of the fourth quarter. After scoring the final 12 points in the third, Booker scored the first points in the fourth, bringing the Suns within 1 point of the Pelicans. Once the Pelicans started to send traps and double team, Booker went Booker's way. He dished it. He dished it off to the open, and the Suns took advantage from there and never trailed from that point on. What a strange turn of events that is, folks. After 10 months of rehab from a torn ACL, Bucks forward Joe Ingles will make his return to the Pelicans tomorrow, said by Mark Barlstein of Priority Sports. Ingles successfully completed a 5-on-5. That was his last hurdle in making a comeback. Ingles had been ramping up his return. That includes practice time with the G League squad. Well, you do whatever works. And my critics are thanking me for the information. Okay, I have a encouraging story here as Golden Knights defenseman Alex Paratiangelo returned to practice on Friday after a 9-game absence after his young daughter became ill. Paratiangelo said he felt comfortable that his daughter Evelyn was progressing well enough, so he returned to the Knights to face the Islanders. He said Evelyn came down with the flu over Thanksgiving. That developed into another condition that created a lessening in her brain that caused her to lose her motor skills. Ooh, that's not good. You lose your motor skills, you're in big trouble. That also caused her eyes to be shut for the first 5 days. Paratiangelo said they tried a treatment that a week later eliminated the brain lesion. He said his daughter returned home from the hospital last Wednesday, and the next day she said she wanted to walk. And we certainly wish this young lady the best. What a tough. At least she's recovering, though. More sad news from basketball as former Syracuse and Knicks player Louis Orr passed away from cancer at the age of 64. Orr's family released a statement on Friday saying the former player turned coach passed away from pancreatic cancer on Thursday. Orr helped Syracuse to 4 straight tournament appearances from 1976 to 1980, all Big East tournament honors during his senior year. I remember that very well. Don't forget, guys, I'm getting old. Oh boy, his senior year. So, and then went on to have a respectable NBA career, even with the Knicks. It lasted about 7 years there. Unfortunately, he did not give the Knicks a title. His number 53 was retired in 2015. His pro days, he was drafted by the Pacers in 1980, spending 2 seasons there, then went to the Knicks from 82 to 88. So it was Patrick Ewing's early days. He then moved to the college ranks as assistant coach that started with Xavier in 1991, then Providence, who was really beginning to bug me. His first coaching job was at Siena in 2000, then coached for Seton Hall for 5 seasons, and then at Bowling Green for 7. Yeah. Christian Pulisic says he is focused on playing for Chelsea. He also said he would not rule out a transfer. ESPN reported last month that Manchester U will consider the American star as a replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo, who has been getting up there in years. Well, by soccer standards, that is. Yeah, he said right now he is just focusing on the upcoming season for Chelsea, and then he said we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Assuming that it happens at all, because sometimes they just spread rumors about where he's going to go. Although some say he would make a great asset to the team, but I'll believe that when I see it signed on the dotted line. United, Manchester, and Arsenal have all been aware of Pulisic's availability when the transfer window opens. Source told ESPN the players' representatives are keen to find him a new club 4 years after he signed with Chelsea. But like I said, that remains to be seen. Mm-hmm. Says right now, I am positioning myself for Chelsea because that's where I am right now. All right. Kyrie Irving knocked his first game-winning buzzer beater on Friday night over the Raptors when they were down by as many as 12 points in the second quarter. Little did we know. He shook off Raptors guard Fred VanVleet in the final seconds as he stepped behind the three-point line, nailing a clutch spot that gave the Nets their fifth straight win, 9 of the last 10, now 6 straight, and 10 of the last 11. The play was designed for Kevin Durant, but Durant told coach Jacques Vaughn to switch it to Irving, and it worked. Durant said he felt comfortable that Irving could get a shot since he was guarding VanVleet. He didn't have Scott Barnes or a 6'5" guy on him who had size. So I felt like he could get whatever shot he wanted. I also felt like they were not going to double team him either at the top of the key because he could just beat. So they let him play one-on-one, and that was a very special shot. And indeed it was. That was some victory. The Miami Heat, this is going to be fun. Listed all 16 players on the injury report ahead of what was their game against Mexico last night. The update came hours after the Heat were fined $25,000 by the NBA for violating league policies for the league's injury report. Well, shame on you. According to the league's news release, the Heat failed to disclose accurate game availability stats for several of its players prior to the December 14th game against the Thunder. Against the Thunder on Wednesday, Jimmy Butler, Gabe Vincent, Jamal Cain, Omar Yurtseven, and Nikolai Jokic were listed out as the injury report came prior to the game. Boy, those people are really stupid. However, Dwayne Denton, Tyler Hero, Max Sturz, Duncan Robinson, and Victor Oladipo were listed as questionable or probable previously, and all 5 played in the game. The Heat did not update the player status before Wednesday's game, which is a violation of NBA rules, which by all means makes you an idiot. All right, hockey fans, you want a little bit more on your season? You might have it, because the NHL is considering expanding to an 84-game schedule to create more divisional rival matchups, which I think is a good idea anyway. Using the current system, each team plays a divisional rival 4 times per year, totaling 26 games. They play 3 games against non-division rivals in their own conference, a total of 24 games, and play 2 games home and away against opponents from the other conference for a total of 32 games. In the Metro Division, for example, the Rangers and Islanders and Flyers only play 3 times each. Now get this. Thursday, the 22nd, the Rangers and Islanders will play for the 3rd and final time this season, which is kind of weird. The addition of 2 additional games would allow the league to keep its current schedule format, which sees every team visit every opponent at least once, while going divisional rivals 4 games against each other every season. There was one season that the NHL did have 84 games, but those 2 games were just neutral site games in the 93-94 season. Obviously, didn't carry on forward as they went back to an 82-game schedule. But then again, that was the lockout year. And the Nets were fined $25,000 for failing to comply with league policies on injury reports, the league announced on Thursday. The fine comes in the wake of the Nets resting Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and several other players on December 10th in the second game of a back-to-back. It's an epidemic around here. So we had our second
A
blunder
50-yard
of the
field
week.
goal.
The Nets ended up resting 8 players. Wow. They rested 8 players, including Nick Claxton, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Royce O'Neal, TJ Warren, and Ben Simmons. Despite all that, the Nets ended up winning over the Pacers 136 to 133, despite missing the entire rotation. I hate to mention Simmons' name because he's such a, at a time when Jacques Vaughn said the Nets were able to what have been because the injuries have been previously been documented. You know how I feel about him. And we got only a minute and 50 to go. Can the Giants hold on? That's another story right there, though.
Quite a kickoff return, though. Wow.
Yeah,
Puts the Commanders in great field position. Excellent field position.
I know. The last time we see another tie in the West, okay, this might be a problem.
The Commanders can only tie with a touchdown and 2-point conversion.
Okay, so
if they can
the
do
Cowboys
it.
lost to. True. Well, you said the magic word right there. If they blew a big lead, they blew a chance to clinch a playoff spot as they lost to the Jaguars in overtime, which never should have happened. So now we have to wait for the result of this game, because if the Giants do win, Cowboys will clinch. This was a chance. This was a game they could not afford to lose as they faced the Eagles on Christmas Eve. Talk about a short memory. Do face it. There's only 3 games left in the season for each team. So it has to be, right here, right now. As the story goes. Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are, of course, becoming even more of a joke, as they're now, like I said, they're now 6-8, and becoming a serious problem. As Kyle Murray, he's expected to recover from his torn ACL, which covers about 6 to 8 months, which would get him ready for the 2023 season. Sources told ESPN. So there is some good news in the works. As he went, which he was to go to the Patriots, but Kingsbury said that he should be ready to go for next season, and he is progressing very well, which is good. Which is always good to hear. And we got a booth review here, official review.
The official review. Let me check the booth review.
Right. That's right. I want to check this myself. Oh, God. That's all we need.
Hang on a sec. He stayed in bounds, they say. All right.
So
So 125
now
left
it's
in the fourth quarter.
second and 4.
Yep.
And it's
It's a
second and
completed
4 right
catch
now.
inbounds.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was anyway. I kind of thought it was. Both have identical records. So the winner here could be in good shape to get maybe a wild card spot. For the loser, I think you might be in a bit of trouble. And Brittany Griner was back to being in practice for the first time since she was detained in a Russian prison, and should be ready to go for the WNBA season next year, which, by the way, is expanding to 40 games per season next year. Griner was released from a Russian prison after spending 10 months last back in February. But she says she's going to be home, and I think we're all relieved that she is now back on U.S. soil. And that was like the I asked yesterday on my show what was like everybody's feel good moment of the year, and a lot of them said it was Griner's release from prison,
First and goal at the 10.
which was thinking, oh boy,
Ooh, almost intercepted.
Ugh. Yeah, almost intercepted. That's right. So a lot. I asked everybody's opinion what was it, and they said that was like one of the best moments of the year. I would have said it was the AFC Championship game that was done in January. That frantic 5 minutes. That frantic 5 minutes right there between Bengals and the Bills, just like absolutely breathtaking.
I think the Giants.
Because that was like
this right
you
here.
don't expect.
The Giants may have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a timeout! Timeout called by the Giants.
Good move.
Giants escaped too many illegal substitution.
Mm. Oh. I just hate when a commentator thinks he tries to be funny, but he's not.
Yeah, I'll have to ignore it. Just focus on what we know.
Yeah, I know. Now I know why people don't like Collinsworth that much.
Right.
Yeah, and unfortunately with the Jets loss, that can also put them in a hole right now. As now they've lost their row, and then of course you went back, and they got the touchdown. Now will they get the 2?
Oh man, it's. Oh wait, hold on. It looks like he's short.
No.
Looking like he's short.
He is short.
It's short. 3rd and goal.
Huh. Now 3rd and goal. Wow. Yeah, he was just short. Yeah, just short is right.
Yeah, the Giants defender knocked over the pylon. Not
right.
Not Heineke.
Heineke. Hold it. We'll have a review.
They're reviewing that. Well,
Yes.
Maybe they're just making sure. Maybe they're just making sure they got it right.
Yeah. Because now is not the time to make a mistake.
That's the only explanation I've got.
Yeah. But
57 seconds left.
Yeah. Well, even if they do get the touchdown, they still have to go for two, which is not always easy.
Right.
Well, of course, depending on where the spot is. If you had like
And the
had-
and the tough thing about the
yeah,
2 point conversion is you can only try it once unless you get unless
a
your
penalty.
unless a penalty is called against the defense
Right.
during the play
Yes.
or prior to the snap, like offsides, for example, or encroachment.
Hmm.
Same thing.
Right. Which I've seen happen a lot of times as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yep. Confirmed.
but the thing is that you also gave them six extra seconds.
So probably
That's
109 left then.
103.
No, it's 103 right now. Oh, was it 57 seconds left?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm behind.
So yeah,
3rd and goal.
I think my set's a little bit ahead of yours. So anyway, Zach Martin said you have a
It
short week
is.
coming up, and you're going against a very good team. So we talked about watching
Did he get
tape
in?
on the flight.
They signaled touchdown.
Uh,
They'll look at it.
Dear.
Now you got to make sure you're 100%. Got to make sure you're 100% correct if you're the official.
Yep.
There's a flag on the play. False start against the Commanders.
Whoops.
Whoa. Yeah.
That's a break for the Giants. So
Yeah. Break for the Giants is right.
Get your mind on the way to Philly. The Cowboys had their chance to clinch a playoff spot, but they can still do it if the Giants beat the Commanders. Well, all I can say to that is you better pray, Giants fans. You had the game in the bag, and now you're on the brink of maybe losing it. Maybe. Yeah. So as I said before, that Kingsbury said Murray will likely undergo surgery after Christmas after the swelling in his knee goes down. The injury could have been worse, but doctors believe that all his other ligaments in his knee are intact. Murray is expected to be on the physically unable to perform list to open
He
training
gets
camp
rid of it, pass
next
incomplete, 4th
summer.
and goal.
Oh boy, it's do or die now.
56
And ramp him up
seconds
slowly as
left.
the preseason goes along, and get ready for the season opener. With Murray out, the Cardinals will now turn to Colt McCoy, who filled in for Murray early this season, as he was brought by a hamstring. The Cardinals believe McCoy has a strong grasp of the offense and has also the respect of his teammates. But McCoy's been around a long time. And whoops. Oh! Giants come away with the win.
Broken up from behind,
And the
incomplete.
Cowboys make the
48 seconds
playoffs.
left. Giants take over on downs.
And Frank Gore Jr. of Southern Mississippi State had a quiet game yesterday. Ran for 329 yards, accounted for 3 touchdowns in a win over Rice in the Lending Tree Bowl. Gore, the son of former NFL star Frank Gore, has 64-yard scoring run this quarter. He threw an 18-yard touchdown pass in the 3rd quarter and ran for 55 yards in the 4th. He also ran for 59 yards in the go-ahead touchdown. Gore, who had 21 carries, broke the record of 317 yards set by Cameron Peoples of Appalachia State back in 2020 in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and also broke the school record that was set back in 1982 in the win over Florida State. for 304 yards. Trey Lowe threw a 26-yard touchdown pass to Jason Brown-Lee on the second play in the fourth quarter. The Gibbs Southern missed the lead and finished off with a 55-yard touchdown from Gore for the win. Yeah, like father, like son.
Oh,
The
man, he was
Bills clinched a
grabbed from
playoff spot.
behind. Curtis
Uh-oh.
Samuel's grabbed from behind.
Yuck. And yep, the Bills clinched a playoff spot in the comeback win over the Dolphins thanks to a sack by quarterback Josh Allen. Okay. Facing a second 18 from their own 13, the Bills needed to make some big plays or whatever, give the ball back to the Dolphins with limited time remaining, but with good field position with the score tied. Instead, Allen connected with wide receiver Gabe Davis on a 15-yard pass on the offensive line, drove down the field, taking the remaining time left on the clock on a 15-yard, 65-yard drive. Helped by a defensive pass interference call on third down, in Dolphins territory, the game came down to a 25-yard field goal by Tyler Bass for the win. The kick clinched the win over the Dolphins to earn the Bills' fourth straight trip to the postseason. It was also their third straight season with the Bills who had won at least 11 wins, their second longest streak in franchise history, since leading to 4 straight Super Bowl appearances from 1990 to 1993, and lost all 4 of them. Yeah. Imagine that, going 4 times the Super Bowl and losing every one of them. And the Minnesota Vikings in AFC North by pulling off the biggest comeback in NFL history. Powered by a new coaching staff with the same roster that missed the postseason in the last 3 of the last 4 seasons, the Vikings overcame a 33-point deficit at the half to beat the Colts on a 40-yard field goal, which almost would have ended up in a tie if they didn't make it. Down 33 nothing at the half, and they come back to win it. I was like, something must have been in the war that changed at the halftime. Or one hell of a pep talk. 33-point comeback surpassed the previous record of 32 points when the Bills beat the, back then known as the Houston Oilers, which are now the Tennessee Titans, in the AFC wildcard game 1993. Although it was the 1992 season, but it happened in 1993. I remember that game too. 35-3, they were down, and they came back to win it in overtime. Someone else asked me yesterday, what is worse, losing that kind of a game or losing you're down 25-3 in the Super Bowl. I mean, you're up 25-3 Super Bowl and you lost. I would say that losing that kind of lead in the Super Bowl is worse because this was a regular season game. You still got games to play. The Super Bowl, your season's over. So I rest my case. All right, so that's going to wrap up for me. So I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, so that was True Sports episode 29. Again, another wild finish in Vegas. But the Lions are still in it. Giants beat the Commanders 20-12. And that wraps it up. Tomorrow we got Monday Night Football between the Los Angeles Rams and Green Bay Packers.
Packers.
I think they're both out of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
But you got to finish out the season.
We'll talk next a week from Tuesday on episode 30.
I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah as well. And on that note, good night.
Yep. And follow my other show, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, on Twitter and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Like its Facebook page and subscribe to its YouTube channel at the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. True Sports is a presentation of and production of Phillips Media. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Merry Christmas. Power to the people, hit them with a hind. Case closed.
Ho, ho, ho. Good night.